CMA New Artist of the Year, Stephen Wilson Jr. is here to hang out with us. How are you? How's your 2026 so far?
I'm doing very good. Thank you
Yeah?
for having me and talking to me, Katie.
It's great to see you. Did you have like a nice little break for the holidays and the new year?
I did, yeah. It was nice to kind of unplug from it all. I just got back from Hawaii.
Ooh, where in Hawaii were you?
I was in Maui. I got to play this show with my friend Lucas Nelson, and he put together this beautiful benefit there, and had Paul Simon. And
Oh my God.
Mick Fleetwood and a bunch of like incredible artists there.
That's amazing. I actually leave for Maui in a little less than a month to do Maui Songwriters Festival, and Lucas usually pops up at that.
Really?
It's always a really fun thing.
Yeah, local boy, and he showed me the ropes, and what a beautiful island. You'll love it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. All right, so for anyone who is listening and maybe hearing your name for like the first or second time, I want to talk a little bit about your backstory because it's very interesting. Like you grew up boxing, did this into adulthood, went to college for microbiology, worked at Mars for a while, and then now in 2026 you are in the middle of this like very fast rising country music career. And so I feel like, have you talked to someone about like the rights to your life in a movie yet? Because
No.
I feel like you should be thinking about it.
I thought you were going to ask me, have you talked to a therapist?
Well, that too, but
No, yeah, it's there's been a lot of chapters so far.
but I think that adds to like the music that you write and also just being like an incredibly well-rounded and interesting human being.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't think I'm interesting, but it has provided a wealth of dialogue and narrative to pull from. I've been habitually quiet most of my life, so I got to work a lot of jobs and kind of keep my mouth shut and listen and take notes, and from those learnings, that's where the songs kind of came from, or just the craft. So I was never talkative for a long time, but the listening part is crucial in songwriting. I kind of think of myself more as a stenographer than a songwriter. And that's kind of what scientists really are. They're just keeping track of what's happening. They're record keepers, and some are better at it than others. But yeah, so I was, it's a bit of science and a bit of stenography at the same time, and I've been a quiet researcher, just kind of a fly on the wall, like who's the weird kid over there that doesn't talk but is jotting something down.
Yeah, you've been keeping a record of all of it. It's interesting that you say that because one of the things I wanted to ask you is like from your time in boxing and being a scientist, like what do you feel like now like bleeds through or you apply in your life as a country artist?
Well, I think they're all parts of the quilt, and they're all like very significant patches of that quilt. I think they're all very important. I wouldn't say one is more of a priority than the other. I use them all. Like science is a big part of my process. Collecting, having a hypothesis or an idea and then testing it against the world is pretty much what science is, but doing it in a controlled setting and doing that experiment over and over again and trying to keep your emotions out of the results. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, what songwriters try to do at the end, because you want to have an emotion to start with, because I'm more in the emotion business than I am in the music business, and at least that's what I think of it as. So it's got to start with an emotion, but then you kind of got to separate your emotion from it to get to the truth, because then you'll have they call user bias, and then that'll affect your results. So science is a big part of it, but being a trained scientist has helped me kind of remove my emotion from it. But then the creative side of me and just all the wealth of experiences and emotions that I've went through has given me a lot to authenticate an idea from, because it has to kind of start with my own emotion, because if I've felt something, most likely somebody else has. So.
Yeah, it's what a beautiful analogy to think about songwriting and science and all of the parallels. And that leads me to your first single to country radio, Gary. Like thinking of that as an experiment to send out to the world. What do you feel like the results from it have been like so far in the feedback that you've gotten from people?
Well, I tested that one a lot in a lot of laboratories, everywhere from 8 to 10 participant laboratories to thousands of participant laboratories. And, you get more, the greater, number of participants you have, the more valid your results are, generally speaking. That's just how statistics work. But I would get results instantly with that song, because that one was really, I had to be real careful about that, because Gary is more of a metaphor, a garryotype, so to speak.
Yes, a garryotype. I love all the Gary puns that have come from the song Gary.
I'm Gary, sorry. It will continue. But yeah, I had to start, with a metaphor that, that everybody could relate to, because, you don't really know. And because I had this experience with the Garys. Like, I started to basically, think of Gary as a subspecies, a human, like another, like a Gary as an organism, not so much just a name for a person, because it was, to me, more of a stereotype, or a garyotype, so to speak. And so if you could classify that organism, how would you do that? And that's how I approach Gary, is almost like kind of like how Jane Goodall would approach a chimpanzee or something, kind of like studying the Garys in the wild, because the Garys are going extinct, and we tend to, if you watch Nat Geo, they tend to really hyper focus on animals that are rare, not the ones that you see all the time. They really go out and look for the endangered species, or the almost extinct one.
And it feels like Gary is like an endangered or almost extinct character or organism, whatever you want to look at it
I think we could classify him as endangered for sure. And where I come from, the Garys are very important. Gary important. And they, every Gary I know just knows how to fix something. It's just, they're just kind of born with this kind of natural mechanical inclination, so to speak. And so I went around the world and basically had this hypothesis about the Garys. And in every laboratory, I'd have someone come up like, I know exactly who you're talking about. Like, his name is Gary, or he's my uncle. This is his picture, or he's no longer with us. And you're right. There, if you can show me like a 10-year-old Gary, like that's the challenge I give to the audience. Like, present him to me.
Yeah.
And we will bubble wrap him.
Exactly.
We will protect
or like
him.
somebody start raising another generation of Garys, I think is also like the message that you want to send to people.
Yeah, we're going to need them. It's really important, because technology and everything is cool, but when your septic tank blows, I mean, your iPhone ain't going to do nothing about it.
No, exactly.
And,
you need a Gary. Was there an initial Gary in your life, or like how did like the name come together with this like metaphor that you were like putting together?
Well, I do. I come from a long line of Garys. I grew up in a body shop, and everybody in those body shops were Garys, whether they were named Gary or not.
Yeah.
And so I kind of I began to look at it as a metaphor, a comparison tool. And really how it was inspired initially was I was driving down the highway, and I write a lot of songs in the car. Like, I write all my lyrics first, generally speaking. And then I put it to music later. Not always, but most of the time. And I was driving, and I saw this billboard on the side of the highway, and it was a memorial billboard. It was really sad, and the song is sad, by the way. Gary dies, and but it was a billboard of a young man named Gary, and I won't, for privacy purposes, I won't say his full name. But it said Gary, in memory of Gary blank blank, and it had a picture of a boy that couldn't have been maybe 16 years old. And it was heartbreaking, and I would just assume that maybe he passed away on that highway, perhaps in a car accident or something. is just tragic, and they made this memorial for him on the side of the highway, and there were trees growing all around it, and the fact that there was a young man there with the name Gary, like he had to have gone to maybe East Hickman High School or something like that, or and I just said instantly out loud, there ain't a lot of boys named Gary these days, and then I just got my phone out, and I just the chorus just kind of wrote itself.
Wow.
And Debbie kind of showed up, and it was a real subconscious kind of expression of the idea, because I started thinking of it as that, and the heartbreak that came from seeing that sign, and the pain that had to have come from it was like the catalyst for the whole idea. Like, every chemical reaction needs that catalyst, and I think that's what that was. And it just kind of, it unraveled itself in the car, and then I went home and put it to music. Like, I had this kind of looping guitar part that just seemed to make sense, because Gary seemed like a bit of a hustler, and so I played it really fast, and then just I guess spat that lyric out, and that's how the song.
That's so beautiful, and there's something like really almost like divine about the timing of like you seeing that and that song coming through you. Have you, like, does the family know at all that their Gary was kind of like the catalyst for that moment?
No, they might know now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I out of just respect for them, I've tried to keep that private, but I would love to talk to them about how their boy inspired this song, and how, he inspired so many people around the world. And I've had so many messages from so many people that either knew a Gary or are a Gary, and like are feeling seen for the kind of the first time in their lives. I mean, I feel like the Garys have been for the most part been forgotten, and I think they had kind of conceded to that, to their own demise a long time ago. So to see this, this expression of love, I think they really feel it, and so do other people. And I think technology is moving very fast, and it can be quite scary. And this, isn't an anti-technology song; it's just a pro-human song.
Yeah.
So.
That's really, I was thinking about it. I was like, I feel like you should do like a Gary meetup. Like, you'll see like a meetup of Ryans, and there'll be like 200 Ryans in a bar. Like, I feel like you need to do like a meetup of Garys. Yeah. And then you do a private show at like a bar or something for Garys. Like, that would be, that could be really fun.
Yeah, maybe on Christmas or something. Yeah. A Gary Christmas.
A Gary Christmas. There you go. Yeah. But I wanted to tell you like how, I know that everyone shares their story with you about this song, but like my dad is a Bob, but he's very much a Gary.
Yeah.
Carpenter by trade, but was also like the electrician and the plumber and the mechanic growing up. Yeah. Like, it's still so hard for me when something breaks in my own house to be like, oh, I have to call somebody for that. Like, I usually try to fix things first, because that's how we grew up. Like, it was very rare that my dad can't fix whatever is broken. Yeah. And so, and I think all the time, like, I'm like, I don't really know any men in 2026 who are like my dad. Yeah. Like, truly a dying breed. Like, whenever I see a guy who's like handy or something, I'm like, that's special.
Yeah, I know. They're a rarity, and a Garrity.
A Garrity. There you go.
But yeah, it's really important that we recognize that, I think, because houses are still being built, and electricity is still being wired, and concrete still being poured, and alternators are still being changed as much as like we don't really see those moving parts, and and there's a lot of really important humans that are really important to those moving parts, and Absolutely. I think we celebrate a lot of people in society, and I'm not sure all of them deserve celebrating.
I'm with you on that.
How about we celebrate some that really deserve it and really have earned it, and literally have the calluses on their hands to prove it.
Yeah, it's really special. You were going out on the Gary the Torch tour this spring. Yeah. Talk about what you are most looking forward to for this, because you're kind of like zigzagging all across America.
Well, just connecting with other humans. That's a big part of the whole experience. Our age demographic is like 7 to 77, and it's
special.
So it brings in humans of all ages and all parts of the world, and so really just kind of getting back in the room with them and having that experience together, because this really has nothing to do with me and has everything to do with us, and I think everybody recognizes that in the moment. So like getting back to that, and so like Gary the Torch is that's obviously a pun, but I'm trying to keep that torch going, because I think people need a light right now, and if those shows can be even a flicker or a spark, I'll do my part.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think it's so special. I can't wait to come see the tour. I love what you're doing. I'm really curious, just like knowing all these interesting things about you and like your message and everything. Like, what are you doing in your downtime? Like when you're like hanging out, like what are your hobbies? Like when you're not working on music, what are you doing?
I like to fish. I like to look at trees.
Yeah?
I like to be in the woods. And maybe draw a little bit.
When you draw, what are you drawing? Are you drawing like, people, places?
Whatever I see.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's just usually whatever comes to mind. I don't think about it. That's kind of the whole point of it. I do a lot of thinking, so I try to do non-thinking sometimes. I play with our dogs.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I got a Belgian Malinois and another dog that's half German Shepherd and like quarter pit bull and quarter husky.
Oh my gosh!
I found her in the river. She was like 6 months old. She came running out of the river. She was dumped, and I almost ran over her, and she was in real bad shape. She had been like running from coyotes, you could tell, for days, and was exhausted and pretty much feral and a wild animal. So I had a lot of empathy for that, and I've dealt with a lot of feral people in my life, so maybe I am a little bit myself. So yeah, it took me a couple hours to get her in my car, and but she's been ours ever since. And then we just rescued this Belgian Malinois about 11 months ago, and she's been going on the road with us, and she's been on stage with me a couple times. And
I think that having a road dog is such a good thing for artists, because like I think Brett Eldridge used to talk about how he would come off stage and you have this like incredible high, and it's like so great to have a companion like a dog to greet you when you get out of that situation.
Yeah, it really is. It's so grounding, because they don't give a damn about your career.
Oh, they definitely don't.
They don't care about your music. They don't care about that line in that song. They really, they're just there for you. So it's a great reminder every time of, where to be, and it's just there because that's where they are. So
absolutely.
I love them for that, and I have this particular strong connection to like coyotes and wolves, and dogs are basically members of those families. Are our first invention really is a dog, and it's wild that it's God spelled backwards, because it is our first attempt at playing God. And
oh my God, I never thought about it
wild.
like that.
They're wild, but they are also very tame, and I guess maybe we are too. So I think that's
I do think about that. I got a dog last summer, and I do think about that a lot. Sometimes I'll look at him, I'm like, I can't believe that it just like invited this animal into my home, but I also don't know what I would do without him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we've been living with him for a very long time, like wolves or members of those lines. They've very much been in tune with our species.
Yeah,
and I think that's just something we know, whether we can prove it or not. So
yeah. Another beautiful relationship in the human world. So,
yeah.
Steven Wilson Jr., I so enjoyed this, and I'm so excited for the world to get to hear Gary on country radio. And I'm really glad that you came in to see us today. Thank you
for having me again.
Of course.
God bless.
Hey, it's Katie. Thank you for watching. See more interviews, performances, and more of your favorite artists by subscribing and downloading the free Audacy app.